Okay, so the first thing we want to do is install our carbon fiber rods. We'll put this sheet to the side for now. You notice that your carbon fiber rods are taped in here. You're going to need some foam safe CA or hot glue. At this point, let's go ahead and install our stickers. Make sure you install your stickers to both sides of your foam according to the sticker layout reference pictures on the instruction sheets. And we're going to do the back side. Don't get upset if your stickers are not online. You can see that I'm off here a little bit. That doesn't matter. We can go back later and sand that down or even trim that off. So don't get too particular about the stickers. They can be trimmed. Okay, at this point we're going to go ahead and cut our parts out. I want you to take notice of these tabs here. You'll see we want to cut on this side of the tab so that when our part comes out we don't have the tab on the part. These parts here are inside pieces, so you would cut on the outside of the tab so the tab is not in the part. This inside piece here, this little tiny piece here, cut that out. Okay, let's continue around and cut out all of our parts. Okay, for this step we're going to go ahead and pre-assemble some of the parts. It's basically going to go on just like that, and the arm is going to go on just like that. Let's go ahead and apply some glue to the back of these and glue them in place. At this point we're going to assemble the hats. You'll notice the side we didn't put the sticker has a routed edge. Basically we're just going to run a thin amount of glue on these edges but not in the milled area and sandwich these two together. You'll notice that because of that milled area, that gives us an area to slide the head in. Set that to the side and do the same thing with the baseball cap. There's the baseball cap. Cool. Okay, at this point we're going to add the bottom half of the surfboard. I'm going to flip it over so your carbon's exposed. And we're basically going to glue these two halves together. Since this is the main wing, later you might want to go back and bevel this front edge. Okay, let's let that dry. Okay, at this point we're going to build the stand for the surfboard. We want to assemble this box unit, and you can see it's all tab and slot construction, so it basically goes together like this. So we'll just apply some glue there, get this assembled. And there you go. That's your Surf's Up box. Okay, on this step we're going to install some of our hardware components. You're going to want to cut a short piece of Velcro. Use either the male or female side depending on what is the opposite of what you use on your batteries. This is where your battery will be held. Basically center that. Okay. For this step you're going to want to have your glue gun plugged in and heating up. You want to take your brick, your vapor brick, or your AR6400, and we're going to glue that in. Okay, in this step we're going to add a tape hinge to our elevator. So you're going to want to get your Scotch tape, make the length longer than the elevator. Just try to center it the best you can on that line. Flip it over and cut the excess off. Work that elevator in, bending it both ways. Just make sure it moves freely. For this step, we're going to glue our stringers in. Just wiggle that back and forth and make sure you get it in that hole, properly aligned this way. And you can see I have a small tilt there. A little tip, take your thumbnail and give it a crease on both sides so when it goes into that recessed area, it'll go in nice and smooth. We can actually do a dry fit. And we'll put some glue on there, install it. Okay, we're going to continue and add this third stringer. I'll spin it around here so you can see it. Glue. Okay, and just make sure that they're tight. and that they're straight if you were to look down it. That looks good. Okay, at this point we're going to go ahead and build and install our push rod sets. We have two push rods, one for our rudder and one for the elevator. The longer of the two is for the elevator, so I'm actually going to start with the short one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and install the end for the elevator. One tip I'd like to share is I'm going to pull the rod out a little bit here. I'm going to insert the glue onto it and then push it back in up to about 1/8. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and install our push rods. I'm using the back hole on the servo. Just lay that in there. Okay, we're going to get another piece of our heat shrink and build these from the back. Okay, I'll spin this around so we can see. We're going to be installing the rudder push rod. Once again, put your heat shrink on. I put the Z-bend wire on the bottom hole. Align the heat shrink and sandwich them together like that. So it's straight. You'll notice if you try to move the elevator or the rudder that the rods want to flex. So you want to go ahead and get your foam push rod guides and install these, pushing them down on top of the carbon there. We're going to install the motor into the motor mount. This is a Sukhoi motor mount, and this is a Mustang motor. I'm using a Sukhoi prop. You'll see 4 holes here. So we want to poke the motor into those holes, and it's lined up to give you a right thrust. You can get it started with a little poke. If you're looking straight down this thrust line, you should see it has a right hand thrust. If it doesn't, take it and twist it a little bit, and you might even find out throughout your flight that you need to twist it to get it perfect. I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue, put it back in, just make sure that you twist it, and also make sure that it's horizontal with the nose of the aircraft. We can take our motor leads and put them through this hole here, and what we're going to do is attach these leads. I want to show you that there's 3 holes here, and we want our negative on the very last hole. There. Your battery would sit like this. To help counter the torque, it would stay further to the right. Turn my radio on, plug in my battery. Okay, at this point, you want to take a piece of Scotch tape and just tape this wire in place. Alright, you want to get the surfer dude. You might want to go through and trim up any areas. And let's do a dry fit. You can see that the front corresponding tabs line up with these. Everything looks good there. So we'll go ahead and glue this in place. Make sure that he is straight up and down. I'm just going to go through here and add a line of glue where he's connected. You want to go through and just pinch his head here. That way you can apply the hats. They'll fit on just like that. 2 different style mohawks. You got this style here and this style here. Just kind of cool looking. Or you just have the standard baseball cap look, or better yet, to the back. I just keep everything else inside of here. This stand basically lets you sit this down here when you're not flying it. Keeps everything off the ground. Okay, that pretty much concludes the build. Go out and carve up the sky and have fun.